Well, hi!
Hey!
Welcome back to Hotpocalypse. I am Andy.
And I'm Josh.
And together we're here because we are all doomed. Welcome to it. Hotpocalypse. He's a comic who's chronically depressed and thinks we're doomed. He's a renowned climate scientist who crunched the numbers and knows we're doomed. Together they're hoping to have a good time till it's over and tell you, we're all gonna die! We're all gonna die! We're all gonna die! Hotpocalypse. Hi,
Hey.
how you doing, guys? I'm Andy. I'm the dumb one.
And I'm Josh. I'm the other one.
Well played, sir. I'm a comic who combines alcohol and antidepressants, and I'm convinced we're doomed.
And I'm a NASA climate scientist who doesn't speak for NASA on this show. Usually. Ever.
But you're also convinced we're doomed.
I am also convinced we're doomed.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I forgot. I got lost.
No, that's all right. Josh is a NASA climate scientist who is not on this show speaking for NASA. I am a comic who on this show is speaking for some reason for the United States Postal Service. I'm speaking for them. Yes, I am.
Really standing up for those who serve our posted.
Or throwing them under the bus. We'll see how this goes today.
Yeah, right, great.
Josh, what are we doing today?
Well, we're talking about the oceans. The oceans cover 2/3 of our planet, and they're feeling the crunch of climate change too. So we're going to talk about that.
We've got a lot to talk about, but I think we've got some awards that we're going to give you, the viewing public.
That's right. We have a very special prize. We're going to have a quiz today, and the winner of the quiz is going to get one of these.
This is the most valuable prize ever introduced on the internet.
That's right.
Ever.
A certificate of excuse.
You will have a certificate that is suitable for framing in your home that says that you are not entirely responsible for climate change.
That's right.
Signed by a real climate scientist.
That's right. And right here it's going to have your name.
So congratulations in advance.
So
what are you getting a prize for?
Well, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a quiz. I made up a quiz question, Andy. I think it's a good one.
It is a very good one.
Right, and the first right answer that we get will get one of those certificates with your name right there on the certificate.
And all of this, of course, is taking place on the Being Liberal website. Hello, Being Liberal folks. Please, on the Facebook page, just type in your comments and questions for Josh and we will address them however we can. You're going to answer this quiz question the next few minutes that way. And also, the best question today is that person will receive a certificate as well.
A certificate with your name on it.
We're giving away 2 excuses this
week. 2 certificates, that's right.
Wow, we're so generous.
Quiz question, here we go. You ready?
We go.
All right. The question is, how much carbon does the ocean absorb? All right, it's a multiple choice question.
All right,
A is about 1/3 of what people put in the atmosphere.
That's A.
That's A. B, enough every hour to turn the Empire State Building into a giant number 2 pencil.
And C.
C, release the Mueller report.
That's it. That's C.
That's it.
That's C.
That's
okay.
C, right.
A, B, or C.
A, B, or C.
First answer that we...
First right answer
will receive a
certificate.
And also leave us your questions and comments as we go here.
Please do.
We'll take them on as we can here.
Let's talk about the news.
Let's talk about the news. Right now, there's some important climate news.
That's right. This week, a report came out, and it looked at coral bleaching in the Great Barrier Reef. So in case you don't know, north of Australia, the largest coral reef in the world sits north of Australia, kind of along the equator, and it's in trouble. This coral, as the planet warms up, as the water warms up, the coral bleaches. And so in the summer, when the water gets too hot, the coral, which is made up of a little shell with an algae inside it, the algae gets kicked out because it stops making food for the coral.
Okay.
Yeah, and so when the algae leaves, that's what has all the bright colors, and so the coral's left kind of to die because it runs out of food. And
so that's how the bleaching happens.
That's how the bleaching happens. The algae is like, I'm out of here, or it dies, and then you get this bone white coral.
Because the most talked about form of bleaching these days is generally anal bleaching, which is a very different process than the one you're talking about.
Yes, it's very different, but they both involve starfish.
Yes, and they're both apocalyptic.
Yes, they're very bad for certain kinds of sea life.
That's right.
So but basically what this paper said is that the coral, like the massive bleaching events, have started to happen, and that they're happening often enough that the coral doesn't have time to recover. So after a while, the water cools back down, the algae regrow, and they climb back into their little shells, and they can come back to life after a time. But what they found is that the overall bleaching is so big and so widespread that it's not having enough time to come back to life. And so there was like an 80 or 90% drop in the amount of these kind of living coral in the last year or two.
Fascinating.
So it was really bad.
So okay, let me, if you haven't gotten the shtick here, he says the smart things, then I say them in a dumb way that might be understood easily.
Maybe.
So it sounds like this coral is harmed much more, is suffering much greater harm than we expected.
That's right. That's right. Yes. Yeah. And that's kind of a mantra for all of climate change. Every time we turn around, this is worse than we expected. Sea level rise, melting ice, and now the coral are having a harder time than we expected.
I think that's a really good point, Josh. And let me ask you a question about that. As a member of the scientific community, it seems like that keeps happening. That we keep hearing these predictions that turn out to be much more conservative than the actual results. And I'm generalizing here, but is there a tendency, if you're generalizing as well, for scientists to sort of give us the safer version of events, so as not to freak us out?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, scientists don't like to say things they are not really, really sure about. And so often what you read is the scientific results that have been like studied and redone and done over and over and over again, that we really, really know this is happening. But in fact, as climate change is playing out, the science is trying to keep up with the changes. So we're seeing it happen kind of for the first time. We haven't been studying the Earth since something like this started, and so we keep getting caught flat-footed, kind of. Yeah.
So and it almost always tends to be that the actual effects are worse than predicted.
That's right.
As a result of that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think we have a question.
I love questions.
Yes.
I love comments.
Yes.
Being Liberal website, leave them on the Facebook page. What do you got, folks? Let's see it. Hey, Producer Mike, what do we got
Producer Mike.
Here? Best looking guy here.
That's right.
Oh, the 3 nuclear core meltdowns in Fukushima, Japan has killed the whole northern Pacific Ocean. Strong statement.
Yes. Not exactly a question.
Not exactly a question.
Not exactly a question.
But a comment. I'm suspecting that's an overstatement.
That would be an overstatement. Yes. Yes. There are still living fish and creatures in the Pacific Ocean. It's a very big place. And in fact, the radiation in the ocean, like the very low levels, has spread very far. But the more concentrated areas, which are really harming the environment, are a little more confined. So while we can detect trace amounts of radiation from that event kind of very, very far away, it's probably not having a really big impact. That said, it's not zero. I mean, there's still definitely some impact.
It's not vitamins that are being
It's
dumped
not vitamins
in the ocean.
that we're dumping in the ocean, that's right.
Well, it's interesting. It was almost exactly 5 years ago, I believe, that we were having a conversation with someone in New York City, where that person asked you if we should be just terrified of what's happening in Fukushima. And your answer was similar in the sense, I think you said the oceans are very big.
Yeah, the Pacific Ocean covers 1/3 of the planet.
So it takes a lot of crap dumped in it to filter throughout.
That's right.
And it's interesting too, because I think that, as people who are concerned about the environment, like nuclear power itself is controversial. In that it almost certainly seems to be something that we're going to have as a piece of the puzzle, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we know how to create power from nuclear sources. We are finding ways to deal. There's still waste from it, and the waste is dangerous.
I'm against it.
Right? But you know, the question is it more dangerous than climate change?
Right.
And you know, in the short term, probably not. We probably do need to use some nuclear power to kind of bridge the gap till we can all run on solar panels and wind and geothermal and all kinds of other renewables.
Yeah. That's interesting, and you know, all this science it's so impressive because we have so much to learn from, but we have so much to learn in the future.
Yeah.
I just want to let everyone know a bit of science. It turns out that the oceans themselves are over 80% water.
Yes, well over 80%.
Yeah. Like our bodies.
We have another.
That's why they're called bodies of water. I'll let people know that.
We got a question. Yeah. The real danger is caused by windmills.
I did not know how to spell windmill sounds until
right.
Spelled. Josh, you're a scientist. You've got your doctorate.
Right.
You work with satellites and stuff.
Right.
What is the cancer threat from windmills? Lay it out for me.
There's not one.
There's not one.
Nope.
It's definitive.
Nope.
That wasn't really a question, but we've answered it.
Right. That is that's fake science.
It's fake science. And is there any threat that we know of that's caused by the construction of windmills?
No.
They could fall on you, I guess.
They could fall on you, yeah. Sometimes they take out a bird or two.
Yeah.
But not as many as your cat.
Yep, and a lot of birds are dicks anyway. So.
That's right.
How we doing, producer Mike? We got another one fired up here?
Sure, give me one more second.
And we got...
Well, we introduced this question about the carbon in the atmosphere.
Oh yes, let's find out what's going on.
So the carbon, the reason climate change is happening is because we're digging up fossil fuels, burning them, and we put carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
Word up.
So not all of it stays in the atmosphere. Some of it turns into plants and trees and stuff.
Yeah.
But some of it winds up in the ocean. And if you know how much winds up in the ocean, you can win our amazing
prize where you are excused from most of your responsibility for climate apocalypse by a real climate
That's
scientist.
Right, and a real comedian.
Yeah.
But that carbon, when it gets into the water, it actually makes the water more acidic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's actually changing the chemistry of the water. And that's actually hard for the corals and all of the little critters in the ocean that like make shells out of calcium and things like that. They need the water to be basic, which it is. And when you add...
That shit is basic, man.
Totally basic. And when you add carbon dioxide, when it dissolves in the water,
right,
it makes it more acidic.
Okay. Yeah. And so no, I can hear the trolls. By the way, on the Being Liberal Facebook page, we love you trolls.
Yes. Troll us, please.
Please bring it. We love our trolls. But I can hear them saying right now, this guy is so concerned about a tiny little microscopic creature in the sea. Why should I give a damn about this thing?
Yeah, well, because bigger things live on those tiny microscopic things in the sea. And bigger things live by eating those little things, and then bigger things live by eating those things. And that's what we call the food web.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The food web.
The food web.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, the food web. And so, in fact, what you're doing is you're affecting the bottom of the pyramid, the bottom of the web. So the thing that everything eats to survive is getting affected by the chemistry of the ocean. And so that's potentially a really big problem because it could change the whole sort of ecosystem of the ocean.
Well, I am against it, and it is interesting though that little thing has that big effect. We seem to see that a lot in the sciences.
It is, and part of the reason is because there's a lot of it.
What do we got here? Can you guys discuss why we should even try to combat climate change when 90% of corporations are to blame? What can we do? This is a fascinating question.
Yeah, it's an excellent question, really.
This is a top contender, by the way.
That's right.
To be excused from most of the responsibility for climate disaster.
That's right. We will not put the name of any corporations here. We're not going to excuse them.
Actual flesh and
blood
people.
You guys. That's right. Yeah, it's a good question. In fact, the corporations, giant corporations, do a huge amount of the pollution. but they also have the potential to do things like build solar panels and find renewable courses of energy. And so,
you neoliberal.
I know.
I can hear the guys from Chapo Chop House coming
right.
for you now.
That's right. So,
yeah,
while the corporations are definitely 90% to blame, we're going to need them to help us out of this, to help us find the solution as well. So yes, blame your corporations, but also try and steer them toward renewables as best you can.
Well, and I think I probably occupy a little bit more of a direct action-y stance towards the issue, but I think we agree on principle. Yeah. But towards the end of influencing them, I would say that things like direct action, protests, boycotts, there are ways that between elections that we can move the needle on this. But the other thing I want to commend this commenter on is really perceiving what is the heart of a lot of this is, yeah, we're being told to do things like recycle. And yeah, go ahead and recycle. That's it's a Band-Aid meant to make us feel good, right. Instead of holding the people and institutions responsible that are actually causing this crisis.
Right, right. I agree 100%.
I feel like I should have a dick joke at the end of that, but I don't have one. So I'm just going to be righteous for a second.
Just be one. You don't have to.
Oh, I am one. Dang it, because it's tiny.
So I feel like we should reveal the answer to the quiz.
Okay, the quiz. The
right.
question being,
I know the question being, how much carbon does the ocean absorb?
Okay.
All right, and it was A, about a third of what we put in the atmosphere.
Right.
B, enough to make a giant number 2 pencil out of the Empire State Building every hour.
Nice.
Or more than enough.
C.
And C, release the Mueller report.
And between those, what did we come up with as the answer?
Well, I think the most correct answer, Andy, is A.
The most relevant.
The most relevant, answer. Yes, but they're all true. Yeah.
So we'll go through and choose a winner from
yes,
the
right.
candidates
from all the correct answers.
And and comment-wise, my favorite has got to go to that last one.
Yeah, that's a great question. It is a great question.
It prompts a lot of interesting topics, and it gives us a chance to say fuck recycling, which is one of my favorite things to say. We're going to send some lucky folks some certificates absolving them of most of their responsibility for climate disaster, signed by a real climate scientist and a real-ish comic, whatever. Yeah. Not according to my agent. Guys, this has been really fun.
I had a blast. Yeah, thanks. Leave us some more trolling comments.
Questions.
We'll try and get to them in the interim.
You can find us on Facebook here. We do our show here on the Being Liberal site, but go find us on Facebook at Hotpocalypse. Go find us at hotpocalypse.com. On Twitter, we are Hotpocalypse. On SoundCloud, on YouTube.
I love you guys.
We love you, Pooh,
We love you too, yeah.
Hey, thanks so much for being here. We'll see you on the interwebs.